Welcome to this one on the Citroen C4 1.6 HDI 2008. We're going to be doing an oil filter, air filter and fuel filter service and resetting the service interval. Let's get started. Oil filter, we're using a Comline EOF 265. Filter is a TJ QFA 0468. Filter is a QFF0204. We're using a C2 C3 530 fully synthetic oil. So to start with, we're going to remove this cover, we're going to remove this air intake, we're going to remove this one as well to give us access to the fuel filter, which is tucked underneath the brake reservoir, and the air filter cover, which lays across the back. We have a cable tie here connecting the two together, a bit of support probably. Now I was a bit worried, there's quite a lot of oil here around the turbo. Using a pry tool, if you just slot that in there, as far as it'll go, push down, and that will allow you to pull that pipe out of there like that. And then move that bit of ducting out of the way. Now the air filter, the cover on the air filter is a bit of a bum to get to. There are 3 torque screws, they're T25s. There's one located down here, where my finger is now, and then there are a further 2, one there and one just round the back of, this is your priming bulb. You can lift this priming bulb up a little to gain a bit more room, but be careful because you've got fuel pipes on there. I have rigged up a little stretchy cord running off of this, running over the top to lock off or to try and lift. So I've just hooked it there across the front of the bonnet, and that lifts that upper plate up a little bit just to give you a little bit more room. Unplug the MAF airflow, slip that out of there, and then you should be able to, there are 2 further press locators, it just sits in those. You might want a screwdriver just to try and separate the 2. Now I've got the base, that's it, it's out. And then we'll slide that out of there like that. This one's already looking a bit damaged, but so there's your 1, 2 and 3 Torx 25s. The back is just tabs, so it goes back in like that. But that's your top cover off, and that's your MAF airflow tucked away in there. That is pretty caked. Look at this, look, watch this. Look at the crap coming out of that. It's been a while since that one's been changed. But yeah, that's the old air filter. We'll replace that shortly. So we've got a few pipes to remove. I've got one here. Push the 2 white buttons in, as it were. Now, I'm going to try and plug that a little bit. So I've stuck a little plug in there to try and help stop the fuel vacuuming back. So undo the electrical connector just by giving it a lift from behind. That's that one out the way. Then this one, pull that tab back. That should lift it up out of the way like that. And then you've got a further 2 pipes, if I remember correctly. Another one here at the bottom, undo that, and then there's a little rubber pipe and then we've got one more of those fittings with the tabs on. There you go. Thank Christ for that. So that's popped off of there, and that should make the filter free. And I'm going to just stick another plug in there just to help stop that backflow. So a closer look. You've got the little plastic pipe that I was talking about that goes on the bottom. You've got your sensor that plugs in there, and then you've got your flow and return on the top, and your electrical sensor which goes into the filter as well. Then what we need to do is remove this piece here which slides in. There's a little tab on the top there. If you lift that like that, you should, a bit snug in there. You've got a couple of O-rings in here, so be careful. Slide it out, and that gives you the separation. So this filter is no longer required, but this piece is going to go on our new one. So in your filter kit or in your filter box, you'll have a couple of little O-rings like that. So, and that's to replace these two on here. So we're just going to hook those out. Like so, and take our new O-rings. Knew that was going to happen. To this one, you've got to slide over both of them. Like that. Just make sure that they're sitting in there comfortably and it's all clean. We'll put a little bit of oil on those before we insert it back into the new filter. So I've placed some oil on the new O-rings. We've got a little plug there to remove, and then this needs to slide in there within the channels. So then we're just going to push it like that, and it's in. And the tab is sitting on top of it, so it can't go anywhere. It's within its channel here, as it should be, and it's flush up against the filter. Now I am transferring the fuel from the old filter into the new one. It won't completely fill it, but it will certainly help you when you come to prime it up. Right, try and show you as best as possible. This blue plug here goes into that socket there, but there's nothing in it. There's nothing in the old one either, so it's clearly, I imagine it's a water separator feature, but this vehicle doesn't have it fitted, and neither does the filter. So that one, the blue one, is going to go in there, and that clearish pipe is going to go on the end there. So I've got the clip back in, and now I'm just going to put on the clear pipe, which you can just see there. It's not a very great fit, but it's on there. Just be careful that when you're putting the filter back, that you don't pull it off. I've still got my finger on it, which is a bit of a bonus. So I've located the filter in the two guides there, and that just slots down like that. Now I've got the two pipes to put back. Now I did mark one. The one with the tape is on the top, and the other one there goes on the bottom. That snaps on there. The electrical connector, you can just see me popping that in there. And then we've got the top one. I'm going to snap that on there like that. This one I removed just because it gave me a bit of space. It's a vacuum pipe. Pop that back in there like so. That should be the fuel filter done. Now I mentioned earlier about the priming bulb, which is underneath here, which we'll do shortly. Next job, fit the air filter in. Make sure it's down, its edges down, otherwise you're going to have trouble fitting the top cover back. And it's tricky, it's fiddly and nut as it is. So the cover slides in there. There are some locators. That went back a whole lot easier than I thought it was going to do. And now I've just got to tighten up those 3 torque screws. So the middle one went in absolutely fine. I was able to screw it down with my fingers quite a bit. They're really long. Right, that's done. Just leaves me one to do on the outside. And that's number 3. So I've just sat the airbox back on those 2 locators inside, so that's firm. And then we can put the plug back in. In actual fact, take it out and put the plug in. Gives you a bit more leeway then, and then just slide that back. The priming bulb is located just here. You want to put your fingers on it from behind and just massage it, whatever you want to call it, whatever's comfortable for you. Do it about a dozen, 15 times. And then you should be able to start the car. Yeah, that's quite a nasty sound. That wheel isn't spinning that freely either. So it's almost, sounds a bit bearing wise to me. But anyway, that's not the job today. Oil filter removal, I've just put a little rag underneath it just in case it drips at all. This is a 27mm socket. Shouldn't be a lot of oil out of it. That's the old oil filter. So the new one has come with a oil seal, which belongs in there. So we'll just hook that out for starters. Now they're square oil seals, so then to get this out, they're quite a tight fit. So if you need to, you can always put a screwdriver in it and lever it out. This is the new O-ring stroke oil seal, which we're going to slide over there. It's square. It goes like that, like that. There's still some oil in the cup. Just make sure that it seats in a fashion that it's not twisted. So after a bit of manipulating, it's nice and smooth all the way around. And you can see that it has like a taper going upwards the way it sits in, so that when it meets the housing, that will create the perfect seal. Locating this into that hole there at the bottom of the filter. Put your housing back on, tighten that up. That's done. Now we've got to just drain the oil. So after inspection underneath, the under tray is in a bit of a state. Cracked pieces on it, etc, etc. And to remove it, I think it's all going to fall apart. So I'm not going to take it off. I'm doing the oil removal via a vacuum extraction through the dip stick. It's all currently dropping into that tank there, and I'll be able to also measure it. The rings replicate a litre of oil, so I'll know exactly how well I've done in terms of getting the oil out. So that's the noise that indicates we've got it all out. And let's take a look inside the bottle, see what we've got. Just put that up there so it doesn't drip everywhere. I think you can probably just about see the level there. That is there. It's at that level there, which will indicate 1, 2, 3, that's 4 litres, just over. So I've got just over 4 litres out of it, which is pretty much bang on. Like I say, it's important with these engines that you put the right viscosity in and it matches the ratings in terms of C2, C3, C4, etc. Because they have, some of them have wet belts and stuff like that, and if you put the wrong oil in, you will speed up that deterioration. We're down to, I'm going to go down to 4 litres. And then we'll dip it and see where we are. 1 more litre to go. Just one and a quarter. A little drop more. I'll give it a dip just to check it. Bearing in mind it needs a little while to get to the sump, but this will give us an indication. So you can see the level, it's there. So we're going to put a little drop more in. See that's right on the top. Happy days, pleased with that. Run it up for a few minutes, let the oil circulate. Good down there. And the oil filter's clean as well. So this one on the return has got a locator there which marries up with this one here. So we slide back. That's gone in there, and then that pops in there like that, and this one simply pushes back and then this piece slides over there, and then this goes in there, and that bit slides over the turbo like that. Tighten those 2 screws up. Job almost complete. And to reset the service interval, we turn the ignition on, then turn it off, push the trip button down, turn the ignition back on again, and you'll see it counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. And then release and turn the ignition off. Take the key out just to shut it up, and then key back in. And the service indicator spanner is now removed. It's the C4 service done. I checked the water bottle, the expansion bottle, that was actually empty, so I've topped that up with some antifreeze. Brake fluid was good. Reset done. So hope you've enjoyed it and it's of help to you. Take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.